Hi everyone. Today we're gonna dive in a little bit about Lachey. Why do you ask? I shouldn't say that. I can't help it. Okay. Today is gonna be a little bit of we're gonna do an interview with me, to a little bit of you getting to know me.
Okay, let's get started.
Let's get started.
What's your name?
My name is Lachey. I'm Lachey.
What's your age?
I am 32.
What's your dress size?
Depending on the clothing, but on average, I am a 7, 8, 9.
On average, about an 8.
Yeah, if it's even 9, if it's odds.
What's your weight the last time you weighed yourself?
150 pounds.
Would you say you're underweight, overweight, or you're trying to, is there?
According to my BMI, I'm average, but I have a personal goal. Actually, it's funny that you asked this month. I'm actually looking to drop a few pounds, 20 to be exact. I would like to see how I look in the 130-40 range.
What's your level of education?
I have a college degree.
What school did you go to?
University of Arkansas.
What's your marital status?
Single.
Are you employed?
I am employed, yes.
What field are you in?
I work in sales.
Any other sources of income?
Currently, that's my primary source. I've been having a large discussion with my boyfriend. This has been an ongoing discussion. He was the first to really challenge me on the idea that I could be self-employed, and I have been doing some self-discovery on what I like and what I could see myself doing long term and what I have to offer. The short answer is yes, that's my primary source of income, but I'm working real hard to change that, to generate income through some sources that I do myself.
Anything you're doing currently?
I actually sell waist trainers.
Tell me about that.
In that self-discovery, I realized I was actually looking for a product, one that I felt like something that I could offer someone, and I realized, or something that I was passionate about. And at the time, I've always been very health conscious, weight conscious, I should say. And as a result, I've been very health conscious. And I have been waist training now for over 4 years. And so I saw a big change in my physique when I started wearing it. And so I felt like it was that big game changer, because before I would diet, I would work out, and I would lose weight everywhere, but I would still have like this pouch, and I tried to target the mid area, but through waist training, I just kind of happened to wander upon it one day, and I would wear it when I would go running, or wear it when I would work out on the treadmill, or just actually wear it throughout my work day, and I really saw a significant decrease or deduction in my waistline. And so I was like, if it helped me, maybe it might be of use to someone else. And they come in a variety. If you haven't heard about waist training, I'll be talking a little bit more about it in my channel. There's so many out there that offer different compression styles. So yeah.
Can we see your waist?
Sure.
Can you turn around?
Sure.
Turn around again. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any kids?
I don't. I'm 32 with no kids. 0 children.
You want kids?
I do.
You have any extensive debt, like anything in the tens of thousands?
I do have a credit card right now, and I have some. I haven't paid it, so I do have some debt.
Over 10,000.
I do have 10,000.
Do you have any debt over 10,000?
Yes.
Do you have a car?
I do have a car. Yes.
What kind of car do you drive?
I drive a Lexus.
Are you financing, or you're making payments, or?
No, my car is fully paid off.
You have a home, or you rent?
I rent.
Let's dive deep.
Okay.
Into your aspiration as a kid
You know, this was out. This was a big conversation that I was having and have been having. You know, as a kid, I didn't have like very big aspirations. I think I had what I'm realizing now was the quote unquote American dream. I just wanted to be married, have a child, have a husband, and a house. I didn't have any other big dreams outside of that.
What has changed about your aspirations? What are your current aspirations now, knowing what you've come, into knowledge of?
I'm capable, right? I think for a long time, I didn't think that I had any real skills, and I don't think that I have any like major skills, but I'm realizing that that doesn't stop me, or it doesn't have to stop me.
I mean, you weigh straight. That's a skill.
I guess, yeah, I do weigh straight. But back to your question, I think the game changer for me was someone opening my eyes to the possibility that there was more, and that I was capable of doing more. In short, I can go down a list of some really deep conversations I've had with others and myself, and some reading that I've done, and just really looking at the world and people in a different light. Essentially, I don't think I really stopped to look at all the products and like all the different inventions and technology and things that human beings like myself have invented to make life easier, and how, in doing such, are able to maintain a lifestyle that. And not only that, I think the big thing was, I don't, sometimes, and maybe it was just me, but I just always thought that a job was the only way to like get financially ahead, other than being some like entertainer type career, either professional like basketball player or musician, or for me, I think that the closest thing I thought that I could become to one of those things was modeling, but I always felt like my physique wasn't right, and then there was just some other personal character traits and flaws that I felt like would take me out of the running for that. I think the big thing was really seeing that someone's dream employs me, right? Like, I work for someone who was able to develop a company because they had an idea, a dream that they brought to fruition, and if they're able to pay me, and I can also do the same thing. So like, a job isn't the only means of like getting an income. Essentially, I think that was one of the game changers for me, that I realized, like, because I always thought that my big plan, and I say large plan like it was grandiose or something, or some big. It's kind of sad when I say it out loud, but it was really to just find a job that I didn't hate, that didn't suck, that I could go to every day, maintain an income, and die.
So basically, like an average citizen.
Yeah, but and it wasn't until someone challenged that thinking, and I don't know, it's not necessarily a bad way of thinking, but it is tough when that's the only way you feel like, the only option you feel like you have, because there are so many more. And I think that was what at the time I felt like that was my only option. And I'm realizing now that I'm capable of so much more, even though I don't always believe it. It's possible.
So now let's go back to what you said. Okay. We're gonna come back to why modeling, and how far you took it, and why you felt it wouldn't work out. We're gonna come back to that, but first,
okay,
I want to hammer out an answer from you. Okay. Your current aspirations, what are they turning out to become? What are you aspiring now, knowing, coming into this newfound knowledge? What is the
of course.
What is the new normal?
Great. I'm so glad you said that, right? Because I think for me, it's not like some grandiose thing. It's actually what other cultures and populations are doing every day on a normal and day-to-day basis. They are working for someone, gathering up enough money to invest in something that can generate them money long term, and it doesn't have to be anything like outstanding, and it's very doable. if you're consistent and persistent. So I think to answer your question, it's very much what you said. It is the discovery of a new norm, and the new norm is self-employment being an option for not just me but for everyone. And so often I didn't see that as a possibility. I didn't even know I didn't fathom that idea because I didn't know where to start. So I don't know if that's still very general, but I think the big thing for me is knowing that I can generate a source of income and not have to be employed by someone and still make a living. Have I brought that to fruition yet? Not fully, because I'm still in the works of really taking the steps to make it a reality for myself.
Granted. So now, what does that plan look like? Let's say today, by the snap of a finger, your dreams came true. What does it look like?
A husband,
still,
very much. A child.
Or
it
children?
Looks like, or children, yeah. It looks like properties that I own, and rental properties all over the city. Some Airbnbs. It looks like really sustain, like if it's not the waist training, selling it fully. It's another product that
you care about?
Pardon me?
That you care about?
Yeah, another product that I feel like would be of help or use to someone, and selling it. It's really, I realize, you know what? I take that back. I do have things that I'm passionate about, and like I said, it became a passion because I was very weight conscious, but in doing that, I became very health conscious. So that is a passion of mine, and I've had, I would love to open up a restaurant that sells smoothies and all type of like crazy exotic and tasty salads, because I love salads. And I love smoothies, and I love a lot of other junk foods too. But I would love to like offer those as a healthy option to the public.
So basically, coming into your newfound knowledge, the new aspiration is a husband at the top, a family, kids, a side hustle.
Oh, not side hustle.
Or more like
I don't
a
like
business.
the idea. Yeah, business. Because I don't want a side hustle. I want to make it so I don't have to go into a job again.
So a business that you control, or you have, you can leverage, that you have control over. And giving back to people from your knowledge of health through a restaurant.
Or some other source, yes.
Making healthy food accessible, yeah? How many kids do you want?
My magic number has always been 2, 1 boy, 1 girl.
You mentioned you want a husband, right? What do you envision in a husband?
I've always known that I needed a man to, like, I always felt like I needed that partner to really get to that next level. Like, I always, it might sound like the damsel in distress, but I grew up in poverty, of course.
There's nothing wrong with the damsel in distress.
I always felt like, once I get my husband, he's gonna, I don't know. I saw a husband, honestly, if I'm being genuine with you, I just saw a husband as that way to be able to relinquish all these responsibilities that I have, if I'm being honest. I saw my husband as an opportunity to partner with him and not have to worry about working. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I was always cleaning, cooking, things that I did naturally growing up in my household that I felt like would be an easy transition with a husband, and a part of a husband for sure. And so, yeah, I saw my husband as the way to get that house, the way to get the children, of course, and the way to relieve a life of burden of working forever, if I'm being honest. So I think maybe that's partially why I always felt like, okay, I'm gonna get a job, work until an end, like not have to work too hard, something that I don't hate, makes enough to sustain a lifestyle.
And marriage comes along the way.
And then once I meet my husband, it was like a means to a good end. So it's work until I meet my husband. And then I didn't plan on working after that, if I'm being genuine.
Okay. So you if you were looking forward to a husband as a means to get that house, that life, is that really a partnership, or it's just a husband that does what a husband does and you plan to be a wife?
I guess that all goes back to the definition of husband. What I understand husband to be today, I don't know if I understood husband to be that yesterday.
So basically, you were looking for a protector and a provider,
For sure.
and in exchange, you were planning to give him kids
Mm-hmm.
and make his life easier.
Naturally, I felt like, you know, I feel like I'm a good person to get along with.
That's not the question.
Okay.
What was the plan? You wanted a protector and a provider.
But you're
Yes?
asking me something at the time that I didn't have a plan. My only understanding at the time was that I saw.
Listen, this is not an argument.
No, I'm not arguing with you.
Just follow what I'm saying. You previously mentioned that the husband to you was the means to that house, that lifestyle, that car, the kids being taken care of. A man that comes in and takes care of everything, and takes care of you to the tune at which you don't even have to work if you didn't want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes or no? That's not a partner.
Is that a partner? Yeah.
How's the partnership if he takes care of everything and takes care of you to the point where you don't have to work?
Because in my mind, I felt like I would be taking on a portion of some things of cooking, cleaning, and relieving stress and raising children.
Okay. So you want a partnership, basically.
If that's what we identify a partnership to be, then yes.
Do you know the definition of partnership?
Two people in a company, right?
So,
Who keeps a company afloat and operating, who share equal parts in the operation.
so you think you and your husband have equal parts? Like if he's providing the house, the car, the lifestyle, avoiding for you not to work and your kids to go to college, your equal part is you making life easier for him. Like basically, without the provision of what you offer, can the family still work? And without the provision of what he offers, can the family still work?
No.
So basically, it's not a partnership.
Well,
You're looking for a traditional man.
that's just, I never called it a partnership. I have to preface this with, part of me sometimes do feel, knowing that I'm putting this out there in the world, I don't want to offend anyone, but I also, in being true to myself, there's so many definitions, and I genuinely believe there are a number of ways to explain or advocate for whatever it is how you're operating in your life, or how you're doing whatever it is you're doing. And if what you call is your two people coming together operating a partnership, then I guess that's a partnership for you, So I don't know if I didn't never put labels on it other than marriage, honestly. Do you have the definition of a partnership by chance?
The state of being partner or partners. An association of two or more people as partners. A business or firm owned and run by two or more people.
A business. So would you call a marriage a business?
Well, let's assume it's a business.
So a lot of these new conversations and discussions I've been having, or newfound understandings, have been in our dialogue, in our daily conversations, right? And I think we actually had a conversation about marriage. And I will, if I'm being genuine, he's from Africa, right? And has a number of practices and culture and upbringing where I didn't. And I mean, your understanding of marriage has always been to get to some place in life. And the more I look at, we've had some discussions about where those examples take place in our society, and it's actually in a number of marriages that I've seen where people get together and they build something great and they build a legacy, a foundation. Well, how did you? Can you give your understanding of it so that people have a? Because I feel like your clarity was, I mean, your explanation was very well said, and I think might shine a little light on how I now see that, you know, a marriage can be slightly like a business if you look at it as in the sense of building something.
Okay, so now I'm going to tell you the definition of a husband, and I'm going to ask you the question again, because here definition says use, resource, someone that economically comes to conserve and provide resources. So if he's buying you a house and providing you a kid and all this, you guys are not partners. Partners, everybody come with something that is equivalent to what the other person is bringing. In any partnership, when what any party is bringing is not equivalent to what the other partner, they're not partners.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. So knowing the definition of a husband, what do you envision in a husband?
What is the definition of a husband? One more time.
A married man considered in a relationship to his spouse, use resources economically to conserve. Example, the need to husband his remaining strength, conserve. So basically, by definition, a husband is someone that brings resources and helps conserve resources within a family.
Okay.
Knowing this definition, what do you envision in a husband?
What do I envision? Having resources.
And we're going to try to stay at task. Okay. Having resources. What are you willing to do for the kind of husband you want?
That's a good question.
Take your time.
I mean, it's a very, very open-ended question. Can you be more specific, please?
Name anything. 5 things your husband should expect to get out of you.
Cooperation, trust.
Take your time. Relax. Let's take your time.
Nurture, support.
Any quantifiable thing that you can offer to him in exchange for all this care and all these things that you want and expect from him. Cooperation is good.
Health. I'll keep him healthy. And good. Nutritious meals. Balance the books. Some of those skills I don't quite have yet, and are ones that I realize if my husband were looking for me to help with the business, because if he is the breadwinner or the one that's going to work or working for himself, he will need someone to support him in that. So willing to be that support in driving the business that he has developed.
So you plan to be inspirational and cooperative, you said?
Yes. Inspirational and cooperative. Okay. Why those choice of words?
Inspiration is what draws you to help support his business. Because if you're not inspiring or if you're not inspired, you would not find it attractive, or you would not see the both of you as a unit for you to support his business, because at the end of the day, if his business does well, the family does well.
Okay.
Do you understand? And at the end of the day, cooperation comes in there because there needs to be cooperation for both of you to exist in a union. Because if you're not cooperative, and if you cannot listen to the leader that leads you, you cannot have positive results.
Okay.
So it's just like jumping in a taxi with a driver and stepping on the brakes and not letting him drive. So cooperate is get in the back seat, sitting there, and if you have an address, telling the driver, and the driver does the rest.
Okay.
What would you expect the husband to do for you? I'll rephrase that question.
Okay.
When your husband is doing his duties, what does that look like?
He is financially maintaining our lifestyle. He is caring. He is also supportive. He is a leader. He is a teacher, and I guess he's a superhero.
That's okay if that's how you feel. If a husband should be a superhero.
No, he doesn't have to be a superhero. I'm kidding. But I do very much think that he will be financially
stable.
Got it.
Yeah. Now let's talk about lifestyle, right?
Okay.
When you say lifestyle,
come on, I don't like when you cut me off like that.
The interview, you're sitting over there answering my questions. I can cut you off whenever I want.
Chukuma.
You cannot overtalk me. That's just how it goes. That's how it goes. I'm the interviewer. Because I have to help you. When I cut you off like that means you started being long-winded and not making sense. When you talk about lifestyle, can we quantify that? What does that mean? What type of house are we talking about? What type of car? What type of kids? When I mean type of kids, what kind of school are they going to? What are you doing between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m.? When you say lifestyle, can you define it so we can put a number to it? Start with the kind of house.
You know what? I didn't have like very high expectations as far as financial income for my husband. I did would.
Any numbers? Put a number to it.
Because the thing is, like, there was a part of me that's like, I wouldn't even mind working for a little bit, but I wouldn't want to work forever, right? So.
Put a number. Put a number to it.
To a house.
Put a number. Like, what would be the perfect income for your husband on the low end?
70,000.
70,000. Thank
50,000.
you.
50 to 70,000.
50 to 70,000. Thank you. On the high end.
90 to 200,000. I would love that.
Okay, so 50 to 70,000 on the low end, 90 to 200,000 on the high end. That's reasonable. That's average. About. Okay. So let's proceed. I was gonna ask you a follow-up question. If there's any specific financial status you expect from him, but you just said that you expect him on the low end to be between 50 and 70,000 on the low end, and between 90 and 200,000 on the high end. So we're talking about anywhere from a plumber to an electrician, and anywhere from a nurse to high earning a nurse or nurse practitioner, somewhere around there, or even a pharmacist on a corporate level.
Okay.
What race do you identify as?
Black, African American.
Do you see yourself or think of yourself as African first?
I don't know what African is, if I'm being genuine. I've done Ancestry.
Do you see yourself
or think of yourself as
African? Yes or no? It's just yes or no.
African? Yeah, I think of myself as African.
Thank you. Do you see yourself as, do you think of yourself as African first?
Yes.
I see. Have you ever heard of Ancestry.com or BlackAncestry.com?
Not BlackAncestry.com, no, but I've done Ancestry.com, yes.
What did you find out?
That I am over 40% African, Nigerian, and I have sprinkles of Sweden, Irish. Sorry, I can't remember.
That's fine. How much do you know about your ancestors or Black history?
Oh my God, embarrassingly, not enough.
Do you believe in the push to know more?
Yeah, I do.
Talk about how you think that push should happen, or what you are doing to push for yourself to know more about your ancestors.
That test I took was the start, and it wasn't so much for, I guess that was really to know more about me, and knowing me is also knowing, my predecessors. So that was a start for me. I haven't taken any other real initiatives other than some minor reading. I've been really discovering, but that's been more so black history here in America. Really discovering inventors, like the Black inventors, but I wouldn't say that's really because my history didn't start with slavery, but that was kind of post-slavery kind of knowledge.
As you educate yourself, what have you noticed about your environment and people in it?
I do see things a little differently in that, you know, I realize how, and personally speaking, how small-minded myself I was in a lot of like things. And I say that for lack of better words. Anytime you learn something new, right, and you have a realization of how limited your thinking was, or how limited, how no, like you weren't really thinking big.
You're more like narrow-minded.
Yeah, I hate to use those those words that have those negative connotations, but yeah, like small-minded. Very. I mean, it is exactly that. You know, very small-minded. And I often go back to this example of like growing up on the south side of Chicago. You know, I lived on the south side and I lived on the east side, but the west side, which is not even a 20-minute drive or 15-minute drive, we considered like this whole other
part of the world.
Yeah, it was like this territory that you were not, you know, if you lived on one side of the region of this one region of the city and someone else lived in another, not even region, but what do you call it? Block.
Neighborhood.
Yeah.
Part of town.
Thank you. Like it was just like this you were not to dock that other area because it was like we were so different, and it was
a lot of division.
Just wasn't it's just a constant example of how trapped you could be in, how indoctrinated you can get, you know, how, you know, when you are from a small town
and you've been divided and conquered.
You like being in a small town, sometimes you make that your world almost, and in doing that you create some divisions, right? And it's almost, but it's just small thinking, small living.
So what is your attitude towards networking?
I recently realized how life-changing networking can be. Who you know is everything, sometimes more than what you know. But I am a very shy person, and oftentimes I count myself out before I count myself in. So I avoid people at times. Also too, because I feel like sometimes, you know, after having some negative interactions or growing up and having some negative interactions, I just tend to avoid people so that I limit my chances of having negative interactions with people. I developed this safety, or I felt safe in my complacency.
Talk about that safety you developed and how you apply it when it comes to networking, and the good side of it and the negative side of that safety.
I recently realized that the downside is that you will never, like, forgive me for using an analogy here, but you'll never, and I think Michael Jordan stated this, but you'll never get a shot. You'll never get that shot you didn't take, right? So what's the worst that can happen? I try it, I succeed, I try it, I don't succeed. But you don't try it, you know for sure you won't succeed, you won't get it, right?
Yeah, the saying is that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Thank you. Yeah, that. And so that's what I've been doing for a lot of my life. I've been missing shots and only going after game-winning plays that I knew for sure were layups, you know? So.
How many friends do you currently have?
None. One.
Okay. How important is friendship to you?
Not as important maybe as it should be. I've gotten comfortable with being alone. I don't know. It's so weird. Like I haven't had friendships, but I had family members that I've been close to that have served as friendships.
While that is cool, friendship, anything outside your family, how important was there anything in your past that you can talk about that has either hindered or pushed friendship on the external level outside your family, outside family members?
Mm. I mean, in college, I have friends, kept me sane, helped me do different things, you know.
But those were proximity friendships.
Yeah.
You had them because they were around.
Uh-huh.
But now you're in the real world.
Yeah.
What has been your experience?
With friendships?
Yes.
Not very successful. I don't have any.
And that's okay. What have you been doing to push?
To change that?
Talk about anything you've been doing to change that narrative.
I don't know if I have done anything to really change that.
Any plans to do anything?
Gosh. Darn it. I didn't realize I have not made any progress in that area.
Do you think the problem is you, or do you think the problem is the outside world that
It's
has
me. If I don't have friends, it's me, not other people.
Thank you. What does the phrase "I love you" mean to you?
I love you. Man, I love you. I think of it as a deep expression of care and admiration for a person. Verbal words to express your feelings for someone.
You took the words right out of my mouth. You said they are verbal words.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping that in mind,
Okay.
I'll repeat the question again.
Okay.
What does the phrase "I love you" mean to you?
To me, what does I mean, if you say I love you, that means you care about me, you want to see the best, you want the best for me. There's some emotion, there's something in you. Well, when I say I love you to someone, it's because I genuinely want to see you succeed. I want the best for you. There's a romantic love that I've experienced recently, and then there's a platonic love that I have for my family. So those are very two different loves. But still, in each one, I want to see the best for each person. I want to be around them. I want them to be healthy and happy.
Okay.
I get a positive emotion behind it.
I get it. Talk about the difference of what it means in your life, in your world, in your vicinity, when you hear the words "I love you," and if you're able to tell when the same exact words are said using action. Talk about that experience, what it means. Have you ever seen it? Have you ever been able to tell the difference between "I love you" in words versus the action? Talk about that in a general sense, of course.
Yeah. Selfless acts. My mom didn't raise me, of course, and family members took me in, which I felt were selfless acts. And sometimes, I don't know, sometimes love can probably be dedication or
I say action because dedication cannot be measured, but it can only be measured through action. So when you say you're dedicated, you have to be acting on something, and that's how people can tell you're dedicated. I'll give you an example, right? If you're dedicated to your job, the action that shows you're dedicated to your job is that every day you're on time. Okay, so talk about how action you've seen versus the words, which carries more weight in your opinion, and which are people more likely to show? Are people more likely to use the words, or people more likely to use the action?
Well, I think people use the words quite often, but I've seen in my life, I've had people show up And I go back to the example I gave earlier, which is my uncle took me in as a baby, my cousin took me in, and my aunt took me in. You know, those are selfless acts or actions. Even in my personal relationship, you know, being pushed to, or just reminded that I'm capable of a lot.
Granted, in your family, do you still see, do you get more of the words or do you get more of the action when it comes to the phrase, I love you, within your family currently?
Chukuma, I didn't want to go all personal like this.
Oh, yeah? I'm just asking. Okay, yeah, scratch.
I don't know. I just worry. I don't want to offend anybody in
What
this
is your
process.
What is, okay, smile, try to smile. All right, let's start. What is your definition of love?
My definition of love is care, admiration, sacrifice sometimes, a deep feeling of desire for that person, for my romantic love.
Okay. What is your definition of loyalty?
Loyalty, sticking by that person, just staying consistent, like following through with not betray. I mean, I don't know. My mind goes to not betraying that person. So everything that falls into not betraying them. I don't know. I don't have a word for it.
Do you think loyalty has anything to do with sex in a relationship?
Does loyalty have to do with sex? I mean, yeah. I would say yeah.
Thank you very much. Would you like to know the definition of loyalty?
Yes, please.
A strong feeling of support.
Okay.
Or allegiance. That's it.
Okay.
It gives an example here. Her loyalty to her husband for 34 years is strong. Complete the sentence.
Okay.
You are in love when you are loved when
I am loved when oh gosh. I am loved when I am cared for.
Can you expand on ways to care for you? That's a general statement.
Consider, well, when you ensure not to put me in danger.
Okay.
When you hear, when I feel heard.
Granted.
When I feel nurtured.
Those are valid points. Those are enough.
Okay.
Yeah. When you feel heard and when you feel like you're protected and cared for and kept out of dangerous path of danger.
And also affection. I think I was looking for that word, but affection.
Affectionate. Are you an affectionate person?
I am. I could be more. I used to think I was really affectionate until I realized that I'm slightly guarded in that aspect. I feel sometimes I worry that if I give too much affection, I'm vulnerable.
So you approach affection from a place of fear, lack, and scarcity, yes?
Yes.
Can you talk about anything in your past or any experience that must have led to you being sort of, let's call it for what it is, stingy with your affection?
How much time we have?
Any traumas? You could just take any brief,
I don't
any
know.
brief instance, anything that has happened.
You know what? I don't have anything that comes that I'm like, I don't know. I'm acknowledgeable of my life experiences and how that could transcend into me, and how that could equate to me being very guarded or treading very lightly in that aspect. But I don't carry those. I don't carry those things around as like I guess there's subconscious things that impact my actions and not things that I carry with me on a day-to-day in my conscious. Does that make sense? No. So,
Give me one instance, something, anything in your past that made you guarded with your affection. Just anything. Narrow it down to something specific, anything that you could think of. You could be like, this is why I'm not all in with my affection.
I've seen women, I don't know, I just haven't seen great examples of relationships. And so, didn't have my first real relationship until a few years ago, and I'm in my 30s now. And so I am an affectionate person, but I don't know, I just developed a habit of proceeding with caution, and I use caution with everything. And that probably even goes to how I interact, and that trickles down to the level at which I am vulnerable. Because I think to some extent, affection is like, I don't know, it's just
Currency?
no. I don't think it's currency. I give it without price. I don't know.
But
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
But you're guarded about it. You dish it out with care, like you would money.
I mean, when you put it like that, maybe yeah. I feel like it's an exchange for
some things.
For loyalty and trust.
Okay.
Yeah.
That takes me to my next question. Talk about what you believe the word faithful means. When you say faithful, when you say I'm faithful to a man, or a man is faithful
cheat.
to
Faithful goes right to cheating to me.
Okay. Would you like to know the definition of faithful?
I would, yes.
The first definition of faithful reads, remaining loyal and steadfast.
And we said loyalty is?
Support.
Support, okay.
And, allegiance. The second definition says true to the facts or original.
Okay.
So based on these definitions you've heard, support, allegiance, steadfast, remaining true to the facts and original, would you say a man could be faithful even if he slips?
Cheated?
Yes.
You're killing me here.
I understand.
By definition, yes.
Okay, so by definition, a man can be faithful even though
he stepped out of your marriage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now we're gonna move further into a very broad topic that, in my opinion and in popular opinion, plagues the black community, right? What does colorism bring to mind? And talk about your experience with colorism.
Come on, why we gotta go there and all these
Because you're a dark-skinned, pretty girl. Just get yourself together and answer the question. Please be more appealing to the camera. You're too guarded right now. You're making
I just need a break. Can we take a break?
No, it's almost an hour.
We need a break.
All right, so. All right, we're back. In your opinion, talk about your honest feelings towards black men. How do you feel about black men?
How do I feel about black men? I love black men. Okay. When I think of black men, I think of strong, dominant leaders.
Okay. Do you find them sexy?
Oh yeah, of course.
Attractive?
Oh, absolutely.
Confident, intelligent, assertive?
I think black men are the most attractive race there is. Like, I mean, I don't know any other race that tops a black man. I think they're very sexy. Some other traits that come to mind. What examples did you give?
Confident, intelligent, assertive.
Yeah, I think they're confident for sure.
Attractive.
Obviously.
Masculine.
Yeah. They're the most masculine, if I'm being genuine. Yes.
Decisive, well-groomed, well-dressed.
All of those
supportive,
things.
providers, talented, skilled, resilient.
Obviously, black men have been through a lot and still remain on top. Have made it through odds that were never in their favor, like unbeatable odds. They've conquered and made it to levels of their peers that have had light year advantages. I mean, I could sit here all day and tell you how gorgeous they are, and I use that word because I feel like, I mean, they're sexy, but it's a level beyond sexy, right? Because there's like sex appeal, but then there's like a beauty in it as well, like just a beauty in the mannerisms. It's a beauty in how they carry themselves, how they move, how, you know, just how they operate. So I think it goes beyond just physical traits, but also like mannerisms and how they move in this world.
Just for context, you understand? You just mixed in a bunch of feminine descriptions and associated that with a black man. It's not a bad thing necessarily. Describing a man as beautiful is borderline insult.
It's insulting.
Borderline.
So, you know, that's so funny though, because I just recently utilized that definition because I see black men as strong, right? And I've always seen them as strong.
I agree with you. Let's stop right there.
Okay.
Talk about your experience of of the positive impact you've seen a black man in a positive position. How
in my personal life?
In your personal life, in your family life, how you've seen a black man in a good light in your family.
Mm.
Any experience you've had seeing a black man in a good light.
I mean, I see the father that raised me, who was my mom's brother.
Okay.
I mean, I saw him as a good man. He went out and was the provider. Was always caring, nurturing. And I know that you're gonna say that's a feminine trait, but not. I mean, it wasn't so much nurturing, but he was definitely a male
protector and a provider.
Protector for sure. I look at my cousin.
Based on how you describe black men, do you think you know black men?
Do I think I know black men? No, not all black men. No.
And just in general, do you think you know black men? In the essence of a black man, do you know him?
So recently I've been having some discussions because I grew up around a lot of women.
Okay. Let me interject right there. So that explains why you describe a black man with feminine qualities. Is that right?
I grew up with my father, and I wouldn't say he's, I don't know. I guess the thing is.
Give me some masculine words if you don't agree with me.
Okay.
To describe
a man?
To describe a black man. I don't care about men right now. Black man, that's all I care about.
Strong.
Okay.
Handsome.
That's a good word.
Intelligent.
That's a good one.
Powerful, because I think there's something, physical strength is a little different than economic power.
Understandable. Understood.
While I don't think our black men dominate the economics,
they
environment, but I do think that they very much have
they hold their own.
Yeah.
I'm gonna name a couple of black men.
Okay.
And you're gonna use one word to tell me how you feel about them.
Okay. Let's go.
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King. When I
one word.
One word. Resilient.
Malcolm X. Take your time. Just one word. You can always edit. Malcolm X. One word.
I mean, I want a word that speaks.
Just anything that comes to your mind. There's so many words, but just whatever comes to your mind. Let's go with that. When you Malcolm X, what flashes to your mind? How does that name make you feel?
I'm trying to find a word for that.
You were thinking, just come up with anything. What animal would you say represents Malcolm X in your mind?
A tiger, lion.
Thank you very much. A tiger. Louis Farrakhan. Word or animal?
That's interesting. We can swap animal.
Yeah.
Louis Farrakhan.
Yes. Whatever you know, whatever little or however much you know. What word or animal describes Louis Farrakhan in your mind? Negative or positive, weak or strong?
Strong. He's also like a tiger, a lion.
Okay. Mike Tyson?
I'm indifferent. I don't really have any major feelings towards Mike Tyson.
That's fine. Barack Obama? Word, animal?
I want to say groundbreaker.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Ice Cube?
Poetic.
Okay, that sounds good. Colin Powell?
Colin Powell. I don't think I know enough about Colin Powell to give
Wizkid?
artistic. I don't know enough about him either.
Davido?
Artist.
Burna Boy?
Artist.
Kevin Samuels?
Visionary.
We're still on Kevin Samuels. Animal?
What do you call it when someone like breaks barriers, or when they challenge?
Revolutionary.
I guess, yeah. Well, I mean, that could be said about a few of the other ones, like Colin Powell.
Colin Powell's not a revolutionary. He was not the first black person in the military.
Okay.
So Kevin Samuels?
Yeah, we can go with revolutionary.
Cool. Let's try that again. Kevin Samuels?
Revolutionary.
Okay. Bill Cosby?
Bill Cosby.
Don't overthink it. Just say what comes to mind. Just anything. Animal, word.
America's father. I don't know.
America's father. So,
Yeah.
So Bill Cosby?
America's father.
So I have a question for you. Your father?
My father? What about him?
What comes to mind? Animal or word?
My father?
Yeah.
I'm still learning about him, if I'm being honest.
Animal or word?
Parent. I don't know. He's a parent, I guess. Well, I don't know. Is he my parent? He's a parent. I don't know. I need to know. I don't know enough about him, honestly.
Based on what you know so far, your father, what word comes to mind?
Goodness.
Or animal?
A male species? I'm trying to think of a male species that comes into play, like a mammal that, I'm drawing a blank. I don't know. What is he? I mean, he's a hard worker. Hard worker.
That's fair.
Hard worker.
Summarize black men in 5 words. How you feel about black men.
Gosh.
Summarize it in 5 words.
How I feel about black men in 5 words. I thought we just did that. Black men. I want to do them justice in my definition, so give me a moment.
How long have you seen black men in your life? 5 first words that come to mind when you talk about black men. Summarize black men in 5 words. Any 5 words.
Okay, I'm trying here. I've already said it. They're protectors, fathers, leaders, gatekeepers of the culture, and they're patient, very patient.
So fathers, leaders, gatekeepers of the culture, patient, and leaders. That's fair enough. Give me your take on the word good faith.
To act in the assurance that you know someone's behavior or action.
Okay.
With good
intent.
I don't even know if intent is the word.
Okay.
But it's, I don't know, when I think of good, to act in good faith, it's just you have a belief, a undying belief in this person.
Okay.
Behavior or assurance in this person.
Perfect. I'll give you the definition, okay? You ready?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Good faith, honesty, or sincerity of intention.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Example, the details contained in this brochure have been published in good faith.
Obviously, they would use that as an example.
All right. Well, summarize black women in 5 words.
Oh boy. Black women. I want to stray away from the word strong. Even though I still kind of think, I don't know, I can't help but think strong too.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say brave, somewhat, but I also want to say the black men are brave too.
Any 5 words. We have strong, we have brave.
Black women, sassy.
That's fair.
Stylish.
Okay.
How many is that for?
That's 3.
That's 3. Wow. Okay.
Strong, brave, sassy.
I don't know. I don't want to say, but flavor. I guess we definitely have flavor, right? Black woman.
So basically fashionable.
Yeah, I mean fashionable. Yeah. I'm drawing a blank. Caring.
Okay. So strong, brave, sassy, fashionable, caring. That's 5.
Okay. Strong, brave, sassy, fashionable, and caring.
Okay. So mind you, these are 2 people you're supposed to know very well. And I've just asked you about them and you could not even come up with 5 words. Just keep
Does that speak to me? I would love
Of
to
course
see
it
if
does.
someone else can maybe, they might be more quick with these responses.
Final question.
Okay.
What is your advice for the average young black man, younger than you,
Man?
young black boy,
Okay.
a man between the ages of 10 and 21, and young black girl between the ages of 10 and 21? What would you advise them to have the best outcome in the world today, since if we don't have black boys and black girls together, we don't have anything black?
I would tell them to, so is it that my assumption is I'm talking to a young boy in poverty?
That's fine. Just whatever you want to tell any part, because you can talk to the rich people because you don't know their life. Whatever it is you want to talk to, speak to that.
I just want to say that you are capable of anything and everything. I just want to say to not get consumed by what social media tells you is important, buying all the latest fashion and name brands, making other people rich. I want to tell you to really take time and read, educate yourself on what men are doing to invest in your future. I know that's pretty broad.
And for the black girls?
I want to say more for the black men. For the black girls, for the black women and young girls, I want to say love. I want you to know that there is strength and power in femininity. I want you to know that you are beautiful. I want you to challenge the norms of what your family that is also in poverty tells you are things that you should be aspiring to. I want you to really seek knowledge, books, and examples of people who have succeeded. Also, I want the black boys to do the same. That's my advice.
In closing, you can close now.
Well, do we end out the day with the blowing of the candle?
That's fine.
It smells good.